Before we begin the podcast today for Saturday, February 29, 2020, I want to take this time and this opportunity to thank everybody that came out and showed your support on what I said and how I reacted and how I thought everything regarding Super Showdown was an absolute disgrace. I want to thank everybody that was on my side and showed your support during the podcast on Thursday afternoon. I want to thank all of the new people who followed me on social media, whether it's Instagram or Twitter, based off my tweet that went viral. I want to thank you guys for being in my corner and fighting against the wrong decisions, knowing that whatever happened on Thursday afternoon was indeed the wrong decision. And I want to thank everybody, and this is the part that warms my heart. I want to thank everybody, and there were quite a few of them in the comments section of the Super Showdown podcast. I want to thank everybody that has been disenfranchised with the WWE product and has not watched in several years. Those same people that have told me they haven't watched in several years also explained to me that being that they haven't watched in several years means that they haven't watched me because the interest in the product is not there. But they heard what happened on Thursday afternoon. They know that Goldberg won the Universal title and defeated the Fiend, which means to me that these people are still having their ears close to what's going on. And all of those people came out on Thursday afternoon, not watching me, not watching the product, but came out, and I was one of the first people that they seeked out to hear about this disgraceful creative decision, and they wanted to know my opinion on it. That's the part that warms my heart. That's the part that I love most, because I know right then and there that I am and have always done a good job. So I want to thank everybody, because we just hit 115,000 subscribers. We just hit almost 31,000 Twitter followers after all of this. Amazing. It's amazing how the negativity surrounding the WWE product, is one of the best things to help a content creator grow. It's not even the negativity, it's the fact that we all know it sucks and we all want to just fight against everybody here in the WWE. We as a fan base are fighting back because we know that everything that they've done this WrestleMania season is wrong. Is wrong. I love when people are standing up and fighting the good fight. There will be no fighting tonight. There will only be excitement, and there will only be just thrills because of the action that we are about to embark on tonight in Chicago, AEW Revolution. Tonight, it's going to be awesome. Cody and MJF, and what has been a fantastic storyline. We got Chris Jericho defending the AEW Championship against John Moxley. We got a great tag team title match set tonight between the Young Bucks, or the Bucks of Youth, versus Kenny Omega and Adam Hangman Page, and the story revolving around that. And we got what should be a great show tonight in Chicago. I will be live on the channel tonight talking about the aftermath of AEW Revolution. And today we're actually going to go over the preview and predictions for the show. We're going to run down the entire match card, and I'm going to give you guys my predictions on what I think is going to happen tonight at AEW Revolution. A Revolution show that Cody is saying could very well be AEW's version of WrestleMania. So it's going to be very interesting to see what they have in store for us tonight, and will we see the debut or the unveiling of the Exalted One? I don't know, man, but it's going to be a great show tonight, and I can't wait. But I want to thank you guys so much for joining me here on the podcast. On top of AEW Revolution and the predictions, we got all the aftermath coming out of Super Showdown, news on what Vince McMahon thinks of Bray Wyatt's WrestleMania match. why Goldberg was not originally slated to win the Universal Championship. And I got a ton of news and rumors regarding WrestleMania. Of course I do. Now that Super Showdown is in the books, I got news on WrestleMania, so you don't want to go anywhere. It's going to be another fire episode of Off the Scripts. There have been a few people asking me about my brother's intro that you seen in the beginning of the podcast yesterday and again today. A lot of people want to know where you can get that particular theme song, the off-the-script theme that my brother Frank and his band Legionary wrote. It's down in the description, guys. Go and get it out. Go and check it out and go and get yourself your own version of the theme song. You guys can purchase it via my brother's website. So if you guys want to go check that out and learn everything about what my brother does and the type of music that he plays and the type of equipment that he uses, he's available. He's available. Go and ask him yourself. But if you guys want that song for yourself, you can go purchase it down below in the description. And speaking of music, I have been going to the gym, and I've been on 2 days now, and I'm going to go again all next week, but I wanted to get back into the swing of things. I'm sore as shit. I can't even lift my arms right now. But I have been going with my friend Sean, like I mentioned on Friday's show, and obviously I need some music when I go to the gym. Everybody does, right? Just to make things a little bit easier. And the first day I went back to the gym, I had found out that Trivium, if you guys know who Trivium is, I hope you do. They're one of my favorite bands. Trivium released a new song, and it's absolutely amazing. They got a new album coming out, which I did not even know about, and they got a new single right now on their official YouTube channel. I'll link you guys that as well down below in the description, and it's absolutely fantastic. 7 minutes of everything I love about music. And Trivium, a lot of people are sleeping on Trivium. A lot of people have slept on Trivium, and I don't really know why. If you guys are into the type of music that I listen to, I don't know why you're sleeping or have slept on Trivium. They are very underrated, and I gotta admit, man, you know, Matt Heafy is one of those guys, the lead singer and rhythm guitarist, lead guitarist. He's one of those guys that kind of flies underneath the radar. And he's an incredible musical composer. And this song definitely just takes that to the next level. Now, I love their last album, and I think this one's going to be even better. The production on this new track is great. It is called Catastrophist, I believe it's called. It's down below in the description, and the song is absolutely phenomenal. Go and check it out. I love those guys, and I can't wait to see them, hopefully live. I was supposed to go see them live, I believe 2 years ago, and they were, I think, at the B.B. King's Blues Club or the PlayStation Theater, one of those venues in Times Square in New York City, and the show sold out instantly. So they're those types of bands. You know, it's something that's going to be sold out instantly, and I can't wait for their new album, man. So if you guys want a musical recommendation from me, there you go. That's your musical recommendation for this weekend. Follow me on social media at JD from NY206. That is on Twitter and Instagram. Thank you guys again for following me on social media. I'll be live tweeting tonight during AEW Revolution, so join me, my sons and daughters, of course. So make sure you guys follow me on social media. Hit that subscribe button down below. Turn on that bell for all notifications. We just hit 115,000 subscribers on YouTube. Finally, thank you guys very much. If you guys missed any of the content that I uploaded this week, we got Monday Night Raw, AEW Dynamite, and we got the Super Showdown show. We got SmackDown. We got Off the Script on Friday. Busy week for me here. Way too busy. Busier than I normally am. But it's a big week. We had 2 pay-per-views this week, so if you guys missed any of the content that has been uploaded to the channel, go and check everything out down in the description of this very video. A lot of people are asking me, JD, where's the NXT review? I did an NXT review, a very light NXT review in Friday's podcast, so make sure you guys go and check that out. And I absolutely ripped on Rhea Ripley. How ridiculous she looked coming out of Wednesday's show. So I go over that. If you guys want the NXT review, it's in part 1 of this weekend's podcast. Patreon, if you guys want to show some extra appreciation and support, you guys can certainly do that at patreon.com/JD from NY206. And that's all I got. We'll hit the sponsor stuff later in the video. I'll flip it on you when you least expect it, but I want to get right into the news here because I believe I wasted enough of your time. Goldberg. Talk of the town is Bill Goldberg. Goldberg won the Universal title. He beat The Fiend. WWE killed Bray Wyatt for a second time. But Goldberg winning the Universal title was not the original plan. Now, the main event of Super Showdown culminated in Goldberg being the first man to pin The Fiend following a flurry of spears, 4 of them to be exact, and a jackhammer. I don't know what it was, but it wasn't a jackhammer. The report is that WWE wants to have Goldberg face Roman Reigns at WrestleMania, of course, and that Vince McMahon saw Roman as a better opponent for Goldberg than anyone else. Why? We already went over why in the beginning of part 1 of this weekend's Off the Script. I don't really want to go over it again. You guys know why. The Roman agenda is in full effect. There had been rumors of Goldberg facing John Cena at Mania, which would not have made any sense whatsoever. But the latest report is that Cena will be facing Bray Wyatt instead now, being a non-title match. Despite everything that happened, it appears Goldberg winning wasn't the original plan. According to Dave Meltzer on Wrestling Observer Radio, when the match was originally booked, Goldberg wasn't booked to win. But at some point between then and now, Vince took the executive decision to give Bill his second Universal Championship reign. The response to the result on social media has been overwhelmingly negative, with many fans claiming to have canceled their WWE Network subscriptions, even posting screenshots of the cancellation emails, pretty much boycotting WrestleMania. These same people said that they're not watching WrestleMania. Even if you are subscribed to the network, people were telling me that they're not watching WrestleMania. Movie star Macaulay Culkin even went as far as to cancel his trip to Tampa for WrestleMania as a direct result of Goldberg beating The Fiend. And what can I say that I haven't already stated, man? This is one of the biggest creative blunders in the history of WWE. Certainly the biggest creative blunder in the modern era. Now, I also read another report, which I don't know if it's factual or not, but I could absolutely see it being the case. WWE, we all know, is shopping WrestleMania and their big 4 or 5 pay-per-views to other major streaming services. Now, the rumor is WWE is talking to ESPN Plus and to get ESPN on board, to entice ESPN to shell out the money for WrestleMania. Now, I don't know if ESPN is hip or in with the pro wrestling culture or if they know anything regarding pro wrestling. But the reason why Vince made this decision was because he has his eyes and his heart set on ESPN Plus. And the reason why he gave Goldberg the championship is because Goldberg versus Roman Reigns is a better selling point to ESPN than Roman Reigns versus Bray Wyatt. So it sucks even more so for Bray Wyatt to know that he was a casualty for greed. He was a casualty for the almighty dollar. And greed is overtaking WWE at a very rapid pace. Greed will be their downfall. Greed is what's going to ruin the future pieces of this company. Bray Wyatt has already suffered the consequences. Greed already ruined The Undertaker's undefeated streak, a streak that I still to this day do not think should have ever been broken. I think The Undertaker should have retired undefeated at WrestleMania. There was only one person that was in contention that I would have been okay with beating the streak, and that would have been Shawn Michaels. That's it. Greed ruined The Undertaker's streak because WWE got the network started at WrestleMania 30. That was the big unveiling of the network. Greed took the Undertaker streak. Oh, you're not signed up to the network? Look at what you're missing out. And they sacrificed the streak. There you go. Nobody's going to convince me otherwise of that. And now we're seeing the same thing here. WWE is going for a quick cash grab, and they want to sell Goldberg versus Roman Reigns at WrestleMania to entice ESPN Plus to jump on board and pay for the rights to WWE pay-per-view. Who's going to be watching WrestleMania at this point? I don't think many people are going to be watching WrestleMania, and they'll watch WrestleMania just to shit all over it. You know, I'm in a situation right now where I don't like to be negative. I am very truthful. People mistake truth for negativity. I don't understand that. I never understood that. A lot of these cretins and these fucking parasites on social media, they take truth and they interpret it as negativity. They are simple-minded idiots that don't know any better. I don't even know why they exist. But I'm letting you guys know right now, this is a fair warning. If I am overly negative on the WWE product from this point on, starting at Super Showdown, going all the way to WrestleMania and beyond, because we all know that after WrestleMania, WWE hits this lull period where everything just goes completely to dog shit and nothing is exciting. All their work is over. Then they go on vacation until next Royal Rumble. I am letting you guys know right now, I'm giving you a fair warning. I am going to be negative. Even when I don't want to be negative. Even when I shouldn't be negative. I'm going to be negative. Because this company doesn't deserve at all any positivity. They don't deserve a thumbs up of approval. They don't. They don't. They let everybody down on Thursday afternoon. Everybody. And I'll say this again. The two things that I hit on Friday's show. Goldberg should be ashamed of himself. Goldberg is a greedy fucking asshole. He should have went to Vince McMahon and say, Vince, this is not the right idea. Maybe you should be booking for the future. Give me Roman at WrestleMania, but we don't need a championship. Which is absolutely the fucking logical thing to say. Goldberg versus Roman doesn't need a fucking title. Now we have a title on the line, and what the fuck does it mean? What does it mean? It means nothing. John Cena versus Bray Wyatt needed the championship. John Cena and Bray Wyatt needed the Universal Championship. It makes more sense for that championship to be in that feud. Not only does it need to be on the Fiend, but it's going to enhance his feud with John Cena because John Cena is actually chasing something. Chasing 17. He's chasing history. WWE threw that all away. Goldberg should have went to Vince and said, nah, just give me Roman at WrestleMania. I'll do Mania for you. Give me Roman, and we'll sell it out. We'll make it great. We don't need the championship. You build and book for the future. I'll put Roman over. I'll put Bray over. And that's it. End of story. Then I'll go home. But he didn't do that. So how could I have respect for somebody who clearly I knew from past experiences and past interviews and all the things that I've heard in the past about Goldberg? He doesn't respect the industry. He doesn't give a shit about the industry. And Thursday afternoon was the exclamation point on all of that. On all of it. And the reason why they're doing Reigns on top of the ESPN Plus push is because Vince, now it's not going to work in Vince's favor. Vince thought it was. Oh, Goldberg is going to go into this thing a heel. Goldberg is going to go into this thing as a vilified pro wrestler now because he beat the one guy that everybody loved. So Roman's going to beat a vilified Goldberg, and Vince thinks that Roman's going to be over, but now, because of people like me, and I'm not going to let up on this, the Roman agenda is in full effect. It's come full circle again, folks, just like I knew it would. Just like I've been telling you it would. They do it for Roman. Vince thought that Roman beating Goldberg was going to be his way in to get Goldberg, in WrestleMania, have him put over Roman, and Roman's going to be this hero, and Roman's going to go over Goldberg, the legend, and win the title, and everybody's going to revere and rejoice and give Roman that standing ovation. Oh my God, he's cured from leukemia. Look at all the good that he's done. Look at how far he's come. Now what's going to happen? Because people like me pushing the initiative, because we have to, Roman Reigns is still going to get booed out of the fucking building, along with Bill Goldberg in that main event. And nobody is going to let WWE off the hook here. Nobody should let WWE off the hook. So I don't know exactly what you did. You thought you were going to get one over on us, and it ended up backfiring again on you. And Roman's going to have a 5th coronation at this fucking show. Enough is enough! Why? Who is interested in that? Please. Roman himself even said he would want the Fiend. What is Roman doing now, looking at Bill Goldberg as a possibility at WrestleMania? What? I don't understand it. I really don't. So this is going to blow up in WWE's face. This is going to blow up in their face, and I'm going to be sitting there with my fucking Becky Lynch sunglasses on, drinking a cold beverage, watching this shit go up in flames. I can't wait. I can't wait. An absolute disgrace was this decision, and it's going to continue to haunt WWE all the way to Tampa Bay. It will. It will. And I hope none of you people that are attending this show let WWE off the hook. Don't. Stop justifying garbage. Wasn't the original plan, which it says it's not the original plan, but I know WWE had it in the back of their head when they called Goldberg. So how do you believe this story? It wasn't the original plan, or was it the original plan all along? Because they obviously reached out to Goldberg for this match when they did, and they probably had it ingrained in their heads that he was going to go over the Fiend anyway. They knew what they wanted to do. They tried to execute their grand scheme, and it's not going to work. It's not going to work. WWE may have risked not only Bray Wyatt, but everything that they've worked so hard to suppress with Roman Reigns. I'm going to laugh. I'm going to laugh. How many times have I told you I am the Nostradamus of this motherfucker? Watch come April 7. Speaking of Bray Wyatt, how Vince McMahon sees Bray Wyatt's WrestleMania match. Now, we have reports coming in after Super Showdown about Vince McMahon seeing John Cena and Bray Wyatt at WrestleMania. He thinks, and it's reportedly being stated, that Vince McMahon sees Bray Wyatt facing John Cena at WrestleMania as just as good as a title match. There are also some in the company who feel that The Fiend's momentum as a character might be running out. Sources in the WWE say that Bray Wyatt is still facing John Cena at WrestleMania, and the idea is that in Vince's eyes, it's just as good as a championship match. Interestingly enough, other sources state that they are feeling The Fiend is shot and has lost all momentum. Of course he's lost all momentum. And how? See, this is where Vince McMahon needs to just go away. He honestly thinks that John Cena versus The Fiend is just as good as a title match. Why do I care about Bray Wyatt getting a win back over John Cena now at WrestleMania to avenge the loss at WrestleMania 30 when Bray Wyatt was killed at Super Showdown? Now, if Bray Wyatt had the title, then this match would mean something. It would mean that Bray Wyatt is going into WrestleMania as the superior to John Cena. John Cena would be walking in, A, the underdog, and B, the inferior to his opponent. All while chasing number 17, trying to battle through the mind games and the antics of Bray Wyatt. And you mean to tell me that Bray Wyatt and John Cena couldn't come up, or Bray Wyatt himself couldn't come up with a storyline to really play off the fact that at WrestleMania 30, he lost, and The Fiend is looking for revenge? They couldn't make that interesting. The title, and the title being on the line, and the chase was the glue that held this potential match together. It's the glue that made this more interesting. And now it's not there. And now I'm supposed to believe Vince McMahon because he's Vince McMahon. Vince McMahon doesn't know shit. If there's anyone more out of touch with the fucking product, it's Vince McMahon. Clearly, you know that by watching Thursday's show. John Cena and Bray Wyatt is just as good as a title match. No, it's not. It's just a match with nothing on the line. Simple. They fucked up. Vince McMahon not only sees this as just as good as a title match, that's just like him saying, it's just a match. It's going to be another match on a 8-hour show. His match is not important. Flavor of the month, flavor of the fucking season was Bray Wyatt. Now we're going into the spring. Now we're going into WrestleMania. Goodbye. Goodbye. Their new flavor is Roman. And Roman is the worst tasting ice cream in the freezer. Black licorice. Nobody wants that. It'll get all fucking freezer burned. It'll be all decrepit. It'll be the fucking ice cream bin that's sitting in the corner that everybody looks at and says, ew, what is that? What is that, Daddy? Give me a break. Meanwhile, all we wanted was a nice fucking New York cheesecake flavored ice cream with those little fucking, batter bits and the cake bits that are in there. With some strawberry swirl, that's all we wanted. And Vince doesn't want to give us that. Awful. It's awful. I don't know what to tell you. This is never going to be looked at any other way. At all. Bray Wyatt has issued his first statement since losing the Universal title. Bray Wyatt took to Twitter on Friday and made his first public comment since losing the Universal title to Bill Goldberg at Super Showdown. He says this, and I quote, "Life is a circle. No matter what beast you make of yourself or how bright one side is, inevitably, the dark side comes for us again. But the beauty of the circle is, round we go." Yes, Bray, thank you for being so overly optimistic, but give me a break. If I sat Bray Wyatt in a room by myself, away from the public eye, he'd tell me exactly what I've been reiterating for the last 72 hours here. Give me a break. That's that. Overly optimistic. Now your WrestleMania match is just a WrestleMania match instead of giving you a WrestleMania moment. Awful. Booker T made a fool out of himself again, which is not surprising. Goldberg and The Fiend, he obviously talked about this on his podcast. And this is what he said in regards to the main event and the decision to give Goldberg the championship. He says this, and I quote, "Always expect the unexpected," Booker said in a Macho Man voice. "Anything can happen in the WWE. My thing is, I didn't think this was going to happen either. I didn't see this happening." So Booker continued to say that he felt there was an opportunity for a big moment to occur in Saudi Arabia, but he wasn't sure exactly what that would be. Booker then talked about a potential Roman Reigns versus Goldberg match at WrestleMania. He joked that would be old spear versus new spear, and that they should work in a little Shakespeare. "I'm not laughing, Mr. T." He says this, and I quote, "I like it because my thing is right here. How else were we going to get the belt off the Fiend?" Booker said about Wyatt losing. "How else were we going to get the title off the Fiend?" he asks. I don't know. How about a dose of fucking creativity? How about that? And not calling up a 53-year-old Bill Goldberg while he's got dirty hands changing fucking oil in his 67 Mustang. Giving him a call and saying, "Hey, Bill, you want to come over and bury one of our newest, most popular guys? Bray Wyatt?" Give me a fucking break. Why are there people like this in the industry? Obviously on the WWE payroll, so I'm not surprised. But why are you justifying this? How can anyone justify this? How else were we going to get the title off the Fiend? You could have got the title off the Fiend after giving him a substantial title reign. That's how you would have took the title off the Fiend. You should have been about building him up. Seth Rollins, Finn Balor, The Miz, Daniel Bryan, Goldberg, and then John Cena. And whoever else you want to book against Bray Wyatt in the spring leading to the summer. I could see Mustafa Ali, the light versus the dark, against Bray Wyatt. That would have been a fun story to tell. WWE didn't even think about exploring that option. How about Kofi Kingston going for another championship? How about Kofi versus Bray Wyatt? I don't know. Be creative with it. I don't understand why this was the end-all, be-all. Why Booker T is saying this is the end-all, be-all here for Bray Wyatt losing the title. So that makes it right. How else were we going to get the title off of Bray Wyatt? This? On this night in front of these people at this show? Who else taking the title off the Fiend would have been better than Goldberg? This is what he stated publicly on his podcast. Who else taking the title off the Fiend would have been better than Goldberg? So that is Booker T pretty much admitting, without actually expressing it, that A, Bray Wyatt had an expiration date, a small window, and that it's okay to wheelchair an aging legend who should not be in the ring at all anymore. It's okay to have a guy like Goldberg who is never there to do the job instead of someone full-time, someone who is also a part of your future in the WWE and at WrestleMania or a bigger show. He's pretty much saying that Goldberg is the best choice out of everyone that you could possibly mention on the main roster. That's what he's saying to you. He asked his co-host, Brad Gilmore, and Brad Gilmore suggested Roman Reigns may have been better. And then he goes on to justify it, just like everybody else, the small minority of people who have a fucking pea for brain. He says this, does Booker T, what is better to you, Roman conquering the Fiend or Roman conquering Goldberg? Booker asked. One thing about Goldberg is the guy still has his fans. People know every time they see Goldberg, it could be the last time. So just savor the flavor. I don't even know how people listen to Booker T, number one. Number two, this guy is slobbering all over WWE cock on this podcast. I didn't even listen to it. I'm just reading the fucking transcript here. Slobbering all over WWE cock to a point where it's absolutely nauseating. And he's a WWE employee. He's on every fucking pre-show panel that there is. So I'm not really surprised that he's defending Bill Goldberg here by taking the title off of The Fiend and putting it on Goldberg and giving me Roman Reigns versus Bill Goldberg at WrestleMania. Who's better? Roman conquering The Fiend or Roman conquering Goldberg? It doesn't matter now. It doesn't matter now. With the actions by WWE and the actions that WWE had sought out here, now it doesn't make a fucking difference. It doesn't make a difference. Both now are going to get booed out of the building. And I can't fucking wait. Goldberg still has fans. Really? After Thursday, this man still has fans? I doubt it. Even his fans were disagreeing with the decision. So please tell me how many fans he does have. And why Goldberg on TV is a necessity. He's not increasing the ratings on SmackDown. He's not making the shows better. He's not making WrestleMania better. I would love any other decision but this. Seriously. What type of match is Goldberg and Roman Reigns going to have? Goldberg has not had a good match in God knows how long. The best match he's had in the last 2 years was against Dolph Ziggler at SummerSlam. That was it. And you want to go back before that, his match with Brock Lesnar when he lost the championship at WrestleMania. That was a great match. And if WWE is going to book Goldberg and Roman Reigns, because Roman Reigns still has to win the Elimination Chamber, that's the blueprint for that match. And nobody's Brock Lesnar. Nobody's going to bring the intensity like Brock Lesnar to a championship match. So even if you do follow the blueprint, it's not even going to be a shell of what that match was. That was 6 minutes of unadulterated, hard-hitting fucking brutality in a Universal Championship match at WrestleMania. That was perfect for what it was. I don't think Roman and Goldberg are even going to come close to replicating what Lesnar and Goldberg did at WrestleMania. It's disgusting. It really is disgusting. Stop justifying this. I don't understand how anybody is justifying this. Really. Booker T made himself look like a complete fucking idiot. And I will always be here to call shit like this out. WWE reportedly waits to suspend talent who fail their wellness policy. Now, this past week, WWE announced that Samoa Joe had been suspended for 30 days after he violated WWE's wellness policy. This was a very interesting situation as it was reported by WrestleVotes several weeks ago that more suspensions were coming, and they heavily hinted at Joe being one of those suspensions by merely posting a picture of Samoa Joe on their Twitter account. Then, a couple weeks following that, nothing happened, and WrestleVotes apologized for getting the report wrong. More times than not, they are right. But they weren't wrong, and they apologized for no reason. They were covering their bases, but they ended up being right in the end. The delay in the suspension got people asking why it took so long if he failed the wellness test several weeks ago. According to Dave Meltzer on the Wrestling Observer newsletter, WWE often waits a long time to suspend people to line up with current storylines. He says this, and I quote in the newsletter, WWE does delay suspensions and announcing suspensions until it fits better. In this case, Joe, with his second concussion in a short period of time, meaning he could be out for a while, is serving the suspension at a time he couldn't wrestle either way. The suspension went into effect on 2/24 and was announced on the same day, so he would be eligible for WrestleMania. According to Wrestling Observer, very few people know when suspensions are going to be implemented, and sometimes it's only Vince McMahon and Triple H who know when suspensions are coming. So, I guess if you're a WWE talent, feel free to get suspended for 30 days. You'll go through your storyline, and WWE will suspend you as they see fit. It could be 6 months from when you actually get tested and failed. So there you go. Now, I don't know what to think of this still. We talked about this on Friday's show. Is he really hurt? Is what I want to know. If they suspended him on top of the injury, quote unquote, because we don't really know how bad the injury is. WWE's never going to release concussion injury reports. Why would they do it if he's going to be out anyway? If they really wanted to fuck with him, they could have waited till he came back and then suspended him after WrestleMania. But I'm looking at this in a different perspective. I'm looking at this as a glass half full type of mentality. Kind of being optimistic here. If WWE knows Samoa Joe is hurt and he's out anyway, and they tacked on the suspension now on top of his injury and are going to let the 30 days go by, they are pretty confident that he will be back for WrestleMania. And if they're doing it now on top of his injury so he doesn't have to really miss any time because he's going to be out with the injury anyway, that is only a positive to me because they might want him for WrestleMania. They might have him planned in something big for WrestleMania. So I'm looking at this as a positive for Samoa Joe. Again, we don't know how badly injured he is, but the fact that they added the suspension on top of the injury only means to me that they probably have a plan for him at WrestleMania, think that he will be back at WrestleMania, and want him to be a part of whatever plans that they have after WrestleMania. So again, I'm looking at this as a positive thing for Samoa Joe, because if they didn't have any plans for him, they could have waited till he got back and then suspended him and kept him off TV. But they find enough value in him that they want him on TV. So that's my take on Samoa Joe, but I guess, like I said, feel free to fail the wellness tests, and if you're in a feud, they're not going to suspend you immediately. Depending on how the feud goes, they'll suspend you when they see fit, and they don't have any plans for you if they feel the feud really isn't going anywhere, and they're not going to have you factor into anything major in said feud regardless. So Samoa Joe, hopefully he gets back And hopefully we make sense of what's going on between Joe and Owens and the Ministry of Clowns, led by Seth Rollins. Joe and Owens should win the tag team titles from Rollins and Murphy at WrestleMania. That's the only thing that makes sense, and hopefully he is well enough to be back in time for that and get on the WrestleMania card. A significant debut happening on SmackDown. I got news on this. Now, I'm recording this on Friday. It's 4 hours before SmackDown goes live on Fox. It's 4 o'clock. I usually do these things a day in advance. So if I'm reporting this and then we see what I say happen on Friday on SmackDown, then I guess I'm a fucking, I'm a fortune teller. I don't know. But if it doesn't happen and it ends up being revealed on the show, then I guess you could just throw this story out the window. But there's news on a significant debut happening on SmackDown. For the last few weeks, fans have been treated to this weird glitch on SmackDown coming through their TV sets. Now, they even had one small glitch during the WWE Super Showdown show. Someone is coming, and they're going to be a big addition to the blue brand. Now, people were on social media last Friday during SmackDown saying that there's a circle of lights in this glitch, and they freeze-framed it. And it's the same thing that resembles Mustafa Ali's glove, his light-up gloves. I didn't really know what to think about that. It was a very good guess. Not taking anything away from the fucking detectives on social media. I want Mustafa Ali back on TV, as I've been asking Bruce, where is Mustafa Ali? Been asking Bruce where Mustafa Ali is. I think Celrex is even working on a graphic by putting Mustafa Ali on a fucking milk carton. That's how much we miss Mustafa Ali. But according to this report, it is believed that this is WWE getting ready to bring Killer Kross to SmackDown on Fox. The idea of pairing him with Scarlett Bordeaux is also an idea that would have a logical outcome. Now, I said this weeks ago when Scarlett Bordeaux signed with the WWE and reported to NXT. There is absolutely, first of all, she's not even going to be an active wrestler, nor should she be. Nor should she be. We got enough of that spread across the Raw and SmackDown rosters. We don't need any of that. When I look at Scarlett Bordeaux, I look at another possible Sable. I really... A, she's better looking than Sable. And B, there is no fucking way that this woman, who is incredibly beautiful, there's no way that this woman is going to report to NXT and have a role in NXT. There is no way you could make me believe that if Vince McMahon had Scarlett Bordeaux walk into a main roster taping, walk right into his office, there is absolutely no fucking way that he's not going to find a use for her on the main roster. He is going to take her from NXT upon first sight. Done. Done. And the fact that Killer Kross is being rumored for a main roster debut, pairing them is the only thing that makes sense. And it should be the case. I don't want them operating as a separate act. It is very well known that they are engaged or dating, whatever. They're together. They're a couple, an item. This needs to be. Now, I don't have anybody's... Well, I guess I'm excited for Killer Kross, number one. I don't have any faith in WWE. I don't have anybody in that company willing to just go out there and do right. I'm never going to bestow that upon them. I will never give them that right. Killer Kross I'm excited for. But does the idea of Killer Kross coming into WWE and debuting on SmackDown appeal to you? I know it doesn't to me. What the fuck would you do with Killer Kross on SmackDown? They have a tendency to ruin everybody. They're not even using 60% of their roster on Friday night, and you want to add Killer Kross to SmackDown on Fox? They ruin their future time and time again. You want to put fucking Killer Kross on the main roster? After what we've seen with Bray Wyatt, you're going to get excited about fucking Killer Kross? Give me a break. Now, I don't see how this makes sense because nobody knows who Killer Kross is. Killer Kross might be known to a small circle of people on the forums and on social media and in the IWC. He might be known for his abilities and his character and what he brings to the table in a very small circle. Who's going to really know him with this audience being the way that they are? Who's going to know who Killer Kross is? Who's going to pop for, oh my God, it's Killer Kross? None of these people know who Killer Kross is. Now, I don't want to take anything away from Killer Kross. I don't. Because he's got the look. He's got literally everything. He's a great talker. He's got a great look. He's got Scarlet Bordeaux. And I'm not really sold on what he does in the ring. But if he gets better and applies that to what he does in the ring, I'll be fine. I don't really see debuting him on the main roster a logical decision. Again, I don't want to take anything away from Killer Kross, but at the end of the day, I honestly think with who Killer Kross is, his presence and him being debuted in a fashion that is memorable could work wonders. And he will be the talk of the town if executed properly. Now, again, this is 4 o'clock on a Friday afternoon. We don't know what's going to happen. Well, I don't know what's going to happen on SmackDown. By the time you guys see this, it's going to be Saturday afternoon. So whatever happened on SmackDown had already happened. If you want to debut Killer Kross on SmackDown, John Cena's going to be there in Boston. Have him show up and beat down John Cena brutally. There's no way to make a better impact. You've been craving to be in WWE all these years. This is a fucking career moment for you, right? There's no better moment. There's no bigger impact than coming into the WWE and attacking who I think is still the face of the company, John Cena. Until John Cena is fucking retired, he will be the face of the company. That would be an amazing debut for Killer Kross, and people will know who he is. He will command, at that point, people's attention. Could be. Or it could be Mustafa Ali, and all these things are absolutely nothing. And it's nothing more than, oh my God, Mustafa Ali's coming back. Great. But the way that they're building it up, it signifies something bigger than just Mustafa Ali and his fucking light bright attire. So we'll see what happens. But WWE's made an arrangement with NXT that they don't call up superstars anymore if they're being used on television. So everybody that's being used on NXT television right now is not getting a call-up. When they are not being used in anything prominent, that's when WWE will then visit those performers. This is in place so Raw and SmackDown don't get a superstar before they are able to close out their angles in NXT. Now, Killer Kross might not even step foot in NXT before making his presence known on the main roster. It's going to be very interesting to see what SmackDown or Raw does with Killer Kross. Significant debut. We will find out more as this weekend comes to a close. Baron Corbin. You know how stupid Baron Corbin is and has been in the past? Well, he said something stupid again that I would really like to highlight to you guys. He spoke exclusively with WWE on Fox's digital team. Baron Corbin opened up about accidentally creating his finisher and why he feels certain moves like the Stone Cold Stunner currently used by Kevin Owens are better off left in the past. Says, and I quote, I was trying to find a unique finisher. I was very big on, I want something unique. I want something that people haven't seen. The way I debuted to NXT, I came in, no entrance, no music, just starting in the ring. Baron Corbin. I think the match lasted 12 seconds against CJ Parker, Juice Robinson. He didn't say Juice Robinson. I'm telling you, CJ Parker, if you guys don't know, he's Juice Robinson. I just constantly hit him with the end of days, and it was over. It was kind of a cool moment because it not only tricked the whole crowd, because usually if a guy's already seen in the ring, not going to go over well for that guy, Corbin said. So, meaning that if he's already in the ring and he doesn't get an entrance or music, that he's a jobber. And that the people think that he's going to lose the match. But we kind of tricked him and then got to a point in NXT where people were counting how long the match was going to last. All right. You know the crowd's going to get 35. Let's try to get it done by then. And so the end of days was a staple of just getting the job done. So it was there first. So I really didn't even have any secondary moves for probably my first 10 matches because they were all under 30 seconds. I might punch somebody or kick somebody, but then it was end of days and it was over. The end of days is probably the best thing that Baron Corbin has come up with. It's probably outside of the RKO, the Tombstone, and the Black Mass right now. It may very well be the best finishing move in all WWE. That's my honest opinion. You guys might think differently than me. I think the end of days is the best finishing move in all of WWE right now. So then he went on and talked about Kevin Owens and the Stone Cold Stunner. Nowadays, a lot of stuff is overused or redone. And maybe it shouldn't be redone. Oh, really, Corbin? A lot of things nowadays shouldn't be overused and redone. Like your storyline with Roman Reigns, right? So when we are now entering 7 months of the same old storyline between the same two fucking guys and a myriad of fucking characters that we don't give a shit about, when was that redone and overdone and overused, huh? Do you feel the same way about your storyline with Roman Reigns? Because I know the fans do. Should be left, just like your feud with Roman Reigns, right? You know where it's at. I know where it's at. Dead. Dead. It was over after 3 weeks. I was over it. Right now, the Stunner is back in play. And I feel like that's one of those things that maybe that should have stayed untouched. Because I'm a firm believer. Oh, just like your feud with Roman Reigns, it should have been untouched. Fucking clown. Should have never even been a fucking thought. SmackDown on Fox. You've been debuting since, you've been debuted since October. And we're still going on with the same feud that will not die. Untouched. It should have been never even conceived. When you go out there and do something, you want people to think of you. When people do somebody else's iconic move, the entire crowd thinks of that icon, not the person doing it now. Oh, please, go ask Kevin Owens that. When Kevin Owens hits the Stunner, are they thinking about Stone Cold in that moment he's hitting the Stunner? Or is Kevin Owens paying homage to Stone Cold Steve Austin? I don't understand that. It is perfectly okay to pay homage to someone that you looked up to, like Kevin Owens looking up to Stone Cold Steve Austin. Well, I don't know, Baron Corbin. Didn't you? Did you tell this exact thing to Dolph Ziggler, who goes in the ring and tunes up the band like Shawn Michaels? I wonder. You got a choke slam, don't you? Who uses a choke slam that's iconic in the WWE? I think of Big Show, I think of Kane, I think of The Undertaker. So maybe we should take your choke slam away from you. Please shut up and let people do what they want to do and let people do what they have to do to get over something that you're not. You're not over. And nobody gives a shit about you. Please. The last thing Baron Corbin should be doing is giving advice to other fucking people in the locker room. NXT. WWE to air an episode on March 11th of NXT, not from Full Sail. WWE will air the March 11th episode of NXT from the Performance Center. For a few weeks now, there's been speculation as to where the March 11th episode of NXT will air on the USA Network. The reason for this is due to WWE not being able to air the show in Winter Park, Florida, at Full Sail University, as the school will be hosting their annual Hall of Fame week from March 8th through the 13th. Triple H announced after Wednesday's NXT episode in front of the live crowd that the March 11th show will be a special fan appreciation night from the WWE Performance Center in Orlando. Tickets for the fan appreciation night were given out for free, and they are already gone. This marks the second time that WWE has aired a show from the training facility. If you guys remember, the previous broadcast from the Performance Center was at the 2019 Super Bowl. Halftime Heat featured Ricochet when he was actually legitimately a fucking winner. The Velveteen Dream and Aleister Black against Adam Cole, Tommaso Ciampa, and Johnny Gargano. This should be interesting. I thought that was great. I thought they dressed up the Performance Center, and it looked great. It looked great. So that was just a 15-minute match during the halftime show for the Super Bowl. This is a 2-hour show. It's going to be very different for a 2-hour show to air at the Performance Center and come off well instead of a 15-minute show at the Performance Center during halftime heat. So we'll see what happens. I mean, it should be interesting. I don't know, man. NXT is not really... NXT is still the best brand in all of North America. Don't get me wrong, but I've said it a few times. Something seems to be missing from the show. Seems like they don't really care about beating AEW in the ratings. They're just marching to the beat of their own drum. They got 5 weeks or so of build left for TakeOver. There's no doubt in my mind that TakeOver is going to be great. But something seems to be missing. An essence of NXT seems to be missing. I know the in-ring action is always great, but sometimes you want more than just in-ring action. In-ring action alone is not going to really generate the interest from the people watching the show. So it's going to be interesting to see how the Performance Center comes off on a March 11th show. I know when people are usually tuning from TNT from AEW to NXT, you know, what the casuals or first-time viewer might be thinking, oh, look, AEW's got like all these people. Oh, this is a bigger deal compared to this other wrestling show that's on at the same time slot on USA Network. What is this? Why is this so much bigger than this? And when they flip from AEW to see them now at the Performance Center, it's going to come off even more amateurish. So I don't know. It's only a one-time thing. It shouldn't be a big deal, but it's going to be very interesting to see how WWE dresses up the Performance Center and how many people are going to be able to fit inside the PC. It might not be off by that many. Full Sail only holds about 400, 450 people, maybe 500 stretching out to 500 with the way WWE has kind of expanded just a little bit for the live broadcast of NXT. What are you going to get in the PC? Maybe 200, 250? And those 250 are always loud, and I'm sure they will be loud on March 11th. We touched upon this a little bit ago. WWE is trying a lot harder to call up NXT talents at the right time. Now, in the past few years, WWE has tended to call up superstars from NXT to the main roster after major shows like WrestleMania or SummerSlam, Survivor Series. And as most NXT storylines will have finished by then, that's one of the reasons why that happens. And this allows the wrestler to move to the main roster without any issue. Now, since NXT became a weekly show on USA Network, the call-ups have decreased in frequency, and it appears that WWE is now a lot more careful with who moves from Wednesday to Monday or Friday. In the past, we've seen several stars called up within weeks of each other in an attempt to pop a rating, but a lot of these sudden call-ups have ended very poorly for guys like EC3 and Lars Sullivan, which is a completely different case all on its own. But EC3, absolutely. Waste. An absolute waste. Now, speaking on this subject, Brian Alvarez went on Wrestling Observer Live and explained that WWE is now very careful about who is moved between the rosters. He says this, and I quote, "Back in the day, everyone used to get the call-up after WrestleMania. I think a person or two might get called up after WrestleMania, which I'm thinking will be Adam Cole, or the Undisputed Era, or maybe just Adam Cole. I'm not really sure. They might disband Undisputed Era. We don't know. I hope not. I hope they all make the call up to the main roster. Undisputed Era and Bianca Belair is my pick. I think Bianca Belair is going to end up on the main roster. Could be Keith Lee. And Bianca Belair. And Undisputed Era stays down in NXT for just a little bit longer. Regardless, those are my picks there. Those are my back and forth picks. Back in the day, everyone used to get called up after WrestleMania. I think it might be a person or two after WrestleMania this year, but now they're trying a lot harder to not only call people up when it's time to call people up, when there's been plenty of time. Storylines have been finished in NXT. People have been written off the show. That's most likely when it's going to happen. And we can see it coming with the Undisputed Era. I don't think they're going to get any more gold. Cole will lose the title, and then they will get called up. Bianca Belair has had 3 shots at the Women's Championship and has failed every single time. I think she is ready. Rhea Ripley, more than likely, should beat Charlotte Flair at WrestleMania. So she'll still be in NXT. Bianca will be called up to the main roster. But it's not even that. You could think about when storylines are going to end and then decide on who's going to be called up at that point. But simply by watching the show weekly and seeing somebody down in NXT for several years, you just get this feeling that you know it's time for someone to get called up. And right now I have that feeling about the Undisputed Era and Bianca Belair. I've had that feeling with Shayna Baszler. Finally, after 5 fucking times. Could have been any one of those times, really, but Triple H, it was reported, he didn't want to let her go. He didn't want to let her go. So, at that point, you just know. You just have a feeling watching these shows when someone's time is up. Like, enough is enough. Get these guys somewhere else, you know? So, we'll see what happens with that, but I'm glad that this is an edict in WWE now, because after what happened last time, remember when Vince McMahon called up Aleister Black, Johnny Gargano, Ricochet, and Tommaso Ciampa all in one shot? And then he told his writing staff, come up with something and put them on the show. That's what he did. Pulled them out of NXT when they were all in major programs. Ciampa and Gargano were feuding over the title. And he put them in a tag team on Raw and SmackDown. Black and Ricochet just won the Dusty Classic. They were feuding with the Viking Raiders. Calls them up for absolutely no reason. And then what happened? Tommaso Ciampa got hurt. He was already hurt, but being called up only aggravated his injury. And that storyline, thank God NXT had a backup plan in Adam Cole. Looking back at it, doesn't really make much sense to complain about it because that's the best NXT match in the history of NXT. Cole versus Gargano at TakeOver New York. But that's how reckless they are with the NXT talents. They don't give a shit what storylines are going on now that they are on USA Network, and storylines are now up front and center and not on the WWE Network at 1 hour. Now they're on USA at 2 hours and competing with AEW. You can't really risk any of that when they're trying to do what they got to do to counter AEW. So I hope this edict stays in place for a very long time. And I'm glad that this is a thing now, which always should have been a thing, even when they were on the WWE Network. It stays a thing, should have been a thing, and I'm glad that they're taking this approach to NXT talents. Lio Rush wants WWE to treat 205 Live better. Well, Mr. Rush, I want Bruce to treat SmackDown on Fox a little bit better. I want WWE to start treating their talent better. I want Monday Night Raw to be a good show on Monday. There are things that I want that I don't get, and I will never get while watching these shows. So your desire about 205 Live being a better show, bro, please continue to pray in front of that Jesus statue at church. That's the only thing you could do at this point. And even then, I don't think Christ will answer your prayer. Lio Rush took to Twitter. I did a Q&A with the fans where he made his feelings known about 205 Live. A fan asked, do you think 205 Live should have their own takeover-style events since the other two brands have them? This is a dumb question. This is a question that I would say this individual who asked this was very good on asking the right type of question to get noticed. Because you know Lio Rush is big on this, and he's been very vocal about it. Rush answered, of course, and he says this: I think 205 Live should be treated better as a whole. End quote. Keep dreaming, bro. Keep dreaming. And the Lord be with you. And also with you. There you go. Meaning you guys, and then also with Lio Rush. Because that's the only way he's going to get a fucking prayer answered here by WWE. Go and pray to Jesus Christ. I don't even think Jesus Christ is a fan of 205 Live. Is he? I think Jesus Christ is an AEW fan. I don't think he likes anything to do with the WWE. Not after Thursday. I think even he shunned the fucking WWE. Anyway, I'm going to shun this podcast for a little bit. Manscaped. They are sponsoring the show today. And I want to thank them for supporting Off the Script. If you guys are listening to this podcast right now, I want you to take a look at yourself. Go take a shower. Go look down at yourself. When was the last time you shaved your junk? It's been a while. I know, I don't lie. Let's take a second to thank our sponsor today on Off the Script, Manscaped, for holding you accountable to get rid of the funk and shave your junk. Manscaped is the only men's brand dedicated to below-the-waist grooming and hygiene. Manscaped is forever changing the grooming game with their Perfect Package 3.0 Essentials Kit. I gave my best friend the Perfect Package. Not mine, of course. But I gave him a Manscaped 2.0. Now, I got the 3.0. I love it. And I gave him the 2.0 with a t-shirt and the boxer briefs that come along with it. He said to me, man, I can't wait to go home and shave my balls. And that's exactly what he did. It's exactly what he did. It's the perfect tool for your family jewels. The Perfect Package 3.0 comes with the new and improved Lawnmower 3.0. It's waterproof, it's cordless, and it's a body trimmer for us men with a ton of other liquid formulations to round out your manscaping routine. This third-generation trimmer features a cutting-edge ceramic blade to prevent manscaping accidents. Millions of balls are about to be nick-free thanks to Manscaped's advanced skin-safe technology. And, of course, let's not forget about their crop preserver and anti-chafing ball deodorant and moisturizer. You already and hopefully put deodorant on your armpits, right? So why not put deodorant on the smelliest part of your body? When you purchase the new Perfect Package 3.0 kit at Manscaped.com, you get the biggest bang for your buck. And I'm not talking about the bucks of youth. Subscribers get a new replacement blade refill for your lawnmower trimmer delivered to your door every 3 months, making sure your trimmer always stays fresh and clean. For a limited time, subscribers of Off the Script get not one, but 2 free gifts. The Shed Travel Bag, which is a $39 value, and the patented high-performance anti-chafing Manscaped Boxer Briefs, which are very comfortable. I own a pair, and they are fantastic. This is the perfect package for your perfect package. Get 20% off and free shipping with code SCRIPTS at Manscaped.com. Do yourself a favor and always use the right tools for the job. 20% off and free shipping using code SCRIPT at Manscaped.com. Your partner, your body, and your balls will thank you. So tonight is AEW Revolution. And we are going to go over the match card and give you guys some predictions for what I think is going to be an awesome show tonight in Chicago. Shout out to my boy Jesse. He's going to be attending the show. He doesn't feel good at all. He's very much under the weather. Still making it out to the show tonight. So hopefully he feels a lot better. And I'm hoping that the show is going to be really, really, really good where it makes him forget about his sickness. So shout out to you, brother. Hope you enjoy yourself. AEW Revolution tonight going to be headlined by the World Championship. It's going to be Jon Moxley versus Chris Jericho. I think they've done all that they could for this particular story. Jon Moxley was talking about him winning the AEW Championship and how much of a bigger deal that's going to be compared to winning the WWE Championship. We went over that reason on yesterday's show when we discussed the AEW program, Dynamite on Wednesday. We lumped all the news from AEW into that portion of the podcast. It's a bigger deal to him because he's doing things on his own terms. Jericho has been fantastic in this feud with Moxley. He has been the perfect foil for Moxley every step of the way, with the car and him joining the inner circle, even though we knew it was predictable. Everything just tied into each other very well. The matches we got with Moxley and Santana, and then we got, the whole eye patch thing and the eye being taken out. Everything's been great. Eye for an eye has been really good. The weigh-in was awesome. The weigh-in was awesome. A little cheesy, because who really thinks of a weigh-in when you think of a pro wrestling match? There's no weight limits, right? They're both heavyweights in the heavyweight division of AEW. But it's one of those things that came off very well. It did the job. It built that match. It built 2 other matches on top of it. It was a great segment. We got Gary Michael Capetta to come on back to AEW for a night only and give us his iconic voice. It was a really good night. It was a really good segment. I really enjoyed it. I'm going with Jon Moxley. I think he wins the title, and I think in the main event, at the end of this show, we see whoever the next in line is for the World Championship, whoever the next in line is, attack Jon Moxley at the end of the show. Whether that's Lance Archer or whether that's somebody else that we just don't know of. I think the show is being built up enough in a way where Tony Khan's going to have some surprises. I think Jon Moxley wins. He's the new champion. It's his time. I think it's just a great symbolic passing of the torch here between Jericho and Moxley. Two WWE guys in AEW. Moxley being the bigger WWE guy because his departure was just on a bigger scale than when Jericho left. But I think it's time. I really do. There really isn't anybody on that roster outside of Kenny Omega, really, because him and Moxley have a history after what happened last year. There's nobody on that roster outside Kenny Omega. And I think Jon Moxley is going to be the world champion. And I do think that whoever is next in line, Moxley will hold that championship for quite a while until Omega is ready to take that title from him. And that's when we will revisit Moxley Omega for the AEW Championship. Jericho, what he does after this, I have no idea. I really don't have any idea. Matt Hardy was going back and forth with Chris Jericho on social media. If Matt Hardy is not the Exalted One, and the Exalted One ends up being Brody Lee, or Marty Scurll, which could still be a possibility, maybe Matt Hardy feuds with Chris Jericho. I don't know what Jericho does, but either way, I think Jericho is dropping the title, and Jericho is going to have still a hand in building and forwarding talent on AEW. I'm going with Jon Moxley. Nyla Rose versus Kris Statlander for the AEW Women's Championship. Nyla Rose just won it. This is her first title defense. I do not see her losing at all. Kris Statlander is great, but I do not see her winning the championship at this time. Nyla Rose wins and retains the championship. Jake Hager versus Dustin Rhodes. I'm going with Jake Hager. I think Jake Hager wins this. It's his first match. I think Dustin does the job here for Jake Hager. Darby Allin versus Sammy Guevara. Going with Darby Allin. That should be a barn burner of a match. I think that one's going to be one of the biggest matches on the show, honestly. The match that a lot of people are looking forward to most. Pac versus Orange Cassidy. This is not going to be a comedy match. Pac is not doing this for comedy reasons. Pac is showing up to work, and Orange Cassidy is going to do his thing, but he's showing up to work. But Pac is ultimately going to get the win. Evil Uno and Stu Grayson, the Dark Order versus SCU. I'm going with the Dark Order. Doesn't really make much sense if the Exalted One is on the way, why the Dark Order would lose. So I'm going with the Dark Order in that tag team match. Cody versus MJF. This is the grudge match that everybody's been waiting for. If I know Cody, or I think I know Cody, if I'm thinking the same way that Cody is thinking, I think Cody puts MJF over. I think MJF goes over here. Cody lays down for MJF. It's a hard-fought match. It's old school. And the one thing that Cody has shown us all through these AEW shows and on every major pay-per-view that they've had so far, every single match Cody is in, it is the best match of the night based on the fact of storytelling. I think this is going to pull out all the old school bells and whistles. This is going to be a mastermind of sorts from Cody. And I think this one's really going to fucking tear the house down. And MJF, man, in that arena, in front of that Chicago crowd, he is going to be the biggest heel, if not already, in pro wrestling. Probably is the biggest heel in pro wrestling. But in that arena, fans against Cody, MJF is going to be shit on by everybody. And that side alone is worth the price of this pay-per-view. I'm going with MJF. And the tag team championships, Kenny Omega and Adam Hangman Page defending the AEW Tag Team Championships against the Young Bucks. I'm going with the Young Bucks. And I'm going with Kenny Omega turning heel. I'm going with Kenny Omega turning heel. If not Kenny Omega, I'm going with the Young Bucks turning heel. I don't know how. I don't know what the story is going to be there. But I think the Bucks are going to be hell-bent on getting those tag team titles. And I think, if not Kenny, Hangman is too obvious. And I don't think a heel turn is going to work for Hangman at this point because they've added this alcohol problem to his gimmick. Nobody's going to boo Hangman Page, even if he is a heel. So it's going to be counterproductive in that point. Either Kenny turns heel, which, again, I can't even see, really. Everybody loves Kenny. Everybody loves Kenny just as much as they love the Bucks and Cody. Hangman's kind of the odd man out here, but it's too obvious. The Young Bucks might be the ones to turn heel here. Either way, I think they win, and they are the new tag team champions. This is going to be a great show. Can't wait to talk about it with you guys on social media, and I'll be right back here after the show is over to go over the official review of AEW Dynamite. WrestleMania. Cody says Revolution. Oh, not Dynamite. Revolution. I'll be right here for AEW Dynamite. I'll be here for Dynamite on Wednesday, but Revolution is tonight, man. Holy shit. I'm fucking exhausted. Good thing I caught that one, man. I caught my little error already. Anyway, Cody says Revolution is going to be, or could potentially be, the AEW version of WrestleMania. So WrestleMania this year, from Tampa, we all know it's going to be a fucking marathon of a show, probably around 10 hours or so. WWE has an updated, rumored WrestleMania lineup. And this is the lineup so far, folks. Brock Lesnar versus Drew McIntyre for the WWE title. Goldberg versus Roman Reigns for the Universal Championship, which I would not be surprised if Vince McMahon now ushers into the main event. Now that Goldberg and Roman is for a title, and Roman's going to get a title, watch him put it in the main event. John Cena versus Bray Wyatt. Doesn't really mean much without the title, but we already discussed that. Randy Orton versus Edge. Undertaker versus AJ Styles. Look at this, folks. Look at this. Look at these top matches. Goldberg, part-timer. John Cena, part-timer. Edge, back part-time. Undertaker, part-timer. All of the biggest matches on this show include a part-timer. You want to know what's wrong with WrestleMania? That right there. That right there. Edge versus Randy Orton. Undertaker versus AJ Styles. Becky Lynch versus Shayna Baszler for the Raw Women's Championship. Rhea Ripley versus Charlotte Flair for the NXT Women's Championship. Women's Tag Team Championships. The rumored match is the Kabuki Warriors, Asuka and Kairi Sane, defending against Natalya and Beth Phoenix. That's the rumored match for the Women's Tag Team titles. I'll take it over Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross. Otis versus Dolph Ziggler. Women's Battle Royal. Men's Battle Royal. And this is 11 matches, by the way. Those last 3 matches will more than likely be on the pre-show. But that is 11 matches in total. And I have not even included a SmackDown Women's title match, an Intercontinental title match, a U.S. title match, a SmackDown Tag Team title match, and a Seth Rollins match. Whether that's a one-on-one match or a match for the WWE Raw Tag Team titles. So that would make 16 matches on WrestleMania. And I ask, why do we need all these matches on WrestleMania? Why do we got to get everybody on the fucking show? I don't understand it. Not everybody deserves to be on WrestleMania. I wish WWE would start booking with quality over quantity. The show does not need to be eight and a half hours long. Please. I'd like to live at the end of this thing. That's the current WrestleMania card. WrestleMania might be looking at 16 matches. Not looking forward to it whatsoever. Speaking of Edge and Randy Orton, there might be a stipulation being added to what they do at WrestleMania 36. Edge made his WWE return at the Royal Rumble, followed up with Monday Night Raw. His celebration coming back would be non-existent. One night following the Royal Rumble, he was taken out by the Viper, Randy Orton. The rated R superstar has yet to make a return to the ring. His wife, Beth Phoenix, is expected to give fans an update on his status next week, which will hopefully include a bloodbath and an RKO. Fans might be able to look forward to something special at WrestleMania with Edge and Randy Orton. You know what would be special for Edge? Having Alter Bridge play Edge to the ring. Can we do that? I think that would be great. They got a new album out. Why not have them come and promote the new album? And maybe you can take the crown off the new Alter Bridge album and apply it to the King of the Ring. I think that would be great. have Alter Bridge, have Miles and Tremonti there on stage with everybody in the band, and play Edge to the ring. Play Edge to the ring. I think that would be great. You want a WrestleMania moment? There's a little notion for you. There's a little feedback there, Vince. But no, you'll be too fucking, I guess, enthralled with Roman and Goldberg. You'll be doing this in the back while Roman fails to get over for a 5th year in a row at WrestleMania. Now, it's unclear what plans WWE has for this match or what type of stipulation they will add to this match. The Wrestling Observer noted that the planned stipulation is a stipulation could be named later. This is what they say. They say a stipulation could be added and will be added, but they will have a contest and will have a stipulation to be named at a later date. I don't know what type of stipulation we could have at WrestleMania. It could be a hardcore match. I don't know how Edge will perform in something like that. The last time Edge was in a hardcore match is with Mick Foley at WrestleMania, one of my favorite WrestleMania matches of all time. WrestleMania 22, where Lita lit the table on fire and Edge speared Mick Foley through the flaming table. That's a WrestleMania moment. I'd love to see something like that happen, but never in this day and age in WWE. Now, it's unclear what WWE plans are for the stipulation here. The idea of Edge versus Randy Orton is enough to get fans interested. They might add a gimmick like a no-holds-barred, like I mentioned, or maybe an Iron Man match. I don't know. I don't know what they could add that could make this match more interesting. I feel it doesn't even need a stipulation. It doesn't even need a stipulation. Edge is contracted to wrestle or reported 9 matches in the next 3 years. He already has 1 match and 1 appearance on WWE TV taken care of. WWE needs to use Edge sparingly, so they're going to make this WrestleMania return really matter. Really. WWE's going to make something matter? Yes, I'll be shocked when I see the day. Stipulation really doesn't need to be added. If anything, I'd go the simplest of routes. WWE has ladder matches and steel cage matches galore during this particular season. Especially now. We got 2 steel cage matches next week. We had a steel cage match at Super Showdown. We got a ladder match coming up at TakeOver. What else could you possibly do? The Elimination Chamber is a cage match. What else could you do? What stipulation is there? What is it going to be? Beth Phoenix on a fucking pole? I don't know. It'll probably be whatever happens on Monday Night Raw. Randy's probably going to attack Beth Phoenix, and it's probably going to lead to a no-holds-barred match, because obviously Randy Orton attacks Beth Phoenix, and then Edge wants revenge for what he did to his wife, so it'll probably be a no-holds-barred match, no rules, anything goes. I can see that being the simplest of gimmicks and the simple route to get them a stipulation at WrestleMania. But in my eyes, it really doesn't need it. But I'm assuming if anything is added, it's going to come out of that Monday Night Raw segment with Randy Orton and Beth Phoenix. The current plan for AJ Styles versus The Undertaker at WrestleMania 36. The Undertaker surprised everybody at Super Showdown. Well, that's not really all that surprising that he showed up. That he was pictured in the fucking Saudi Arabian markets in Riyadh the same day. And then WWE actually photographed this right before the event. So who are you surprising? Undertaker surprised everybody at Super Showdown. He showed up to defeat AJ Styles at the end of the Tuwaiq Mountain Trophy gauntlet match. After pinning Styles with 1 chokeslam, fans wonder what kind of WrestleMania plans WWE has for him now. According to the Wrestling Observer newsletter, AJ Styles vs. The Undertaker is still on the card for Tampa. Obviously, the phenomenal one has unfinished business following Super Showdown with the Phenom. So it's the phenomenal one versus the Phenom at WrestleMania. This is a very interesting way to go about things. We've already seen The Undertaker beat AJ Styles at Super Showdown. And now Styles could be coming after the trophy, being that The Undertaker was not even officially in the match, and he could be seeking revenge for that loss. The only thing I don't understand, and I'm using common logic here, folks, is why you would take AJ Styles seriously after Super Showdown. A fresh AJ Styles who didn't even break a sweat against R-Truth. AJ did not even break a sweat. It's as if he just rolled out of bread. Yeah, I am out of bread. I'm actually giving up bread while I'm going to the gym. I can't have any fucking breads, man. As if AJ rolled out of bed and he wanted some fucking nice buttery toast. You know? He was fresh. He was fresh. Not an ounce of sweat on AJ Styles. Undertaker shows up. AJ had about a fucking 16-minute rest, just waiting for the Undertaker to finish his entrance. And then the Undertaker gets in the ring, AJ pokes him, and then AJ receives a choke slam. Not even a tombstone. A choke slam. When has the Undertaker ever, especially lately, finished anyone off with a choke slam? Not that I could recall. So why would you take AJ Styles seriously in a match against The Undertaker after all of that illogical garbage was showcased and portrayed at Super Showdown? I guess WWE didn't really think about that one all the way through. So this is still the plan. I do think that there are better plans. Maybe WWE could... I don't have a match for Aleister Black at WrestleMania. You're building this guy up and you're not going to put him at WrestleMania? You're not going to book him in a match with anybody at WrestleMania? Now, we've already seen Styles versus The Undertaker. Granted, it was for 60 seconds. We've seen it already. How about going in a different route? Now, I don't want to see any more part-timers or fucking old age home veterans in WrestleMania. But in an effort to get Aleister Black on the card, how about this? How about we do AJ, not versus The Undertaker for a second time, because we already seen it. And Styles looks like a fucking goof. Fresh, being beaten, can't kick out of a chokeslam. Oh my God. How about this? Instead of doing the one-on-one match again, how about we do The Undertaker, teaming with Aleister Black, and enlisting Kane? I know. I know, believe me. The Brothers of Destruction, as if we don't have enough fucking geezers on this show, the Brothers of Destruction and Aleister Black versus the OC. I think that works, right? I don't know. Having Aleister Black stand next to Kane and The Undertaker, reformating the Brothers of Destruction, I think that would be a nice little look just by association there for Aleister Black. And they're all brooding and dark and creepy, right? Then you got the OC, and then they could take a loss, like they usually do. The OL, the official losers, official club, the official losers. That's what I would do instead of an AJ Styles Undertaker match if this is the direction you want to go in. Let me know what you guys think about that. I am not interested after Super Showdown at all in AJ Styles versus The Undertaker. What I am interested in is Sasha Banks. Where is she? Where is she? I don't know. But Sasha Banks was supposed to have a non-wrestling role at WrestleMania 36. Sasha Banks has not been seen on SmackDown for a few weeks. There was rumors that, or I guess it was a confirmed report, that she was filming scenes in The Mandalorian Season 2, so she can't be that hurt if she's filming for The Mandalorian. Apparently, she still has an ankle injury. Now, she's been out with an injury. I might have to hit up my source to see what's going on here, if an injury is really to blame here. But Bayley made a reference to Sasha Banks at Super Showdown. She said if Sasha isn't going to be at Friday Night SmackDown, then she doesn't want to show up either. The Wrestling Observer newsletter noted that Sasha Banks should be ready to return soon. Hopefully soon is Sunday at the Elimination Chamber, and soon means she wins the Elimination Chamber, and soon means she wrestles Bayley at WrestleMania for the SmackDown title. It was also noted that Sasha Banks was slated for a non-wrestling role in the original draft of the WrestleMania card. Banks is still out of action with an ankle injury, but she should be back soon. She was listed for a non-wrestling spot on the pre-torn-up WrestleMania show, according to the Observer, although she may have also wrestled in the Battle Royal. If WWE figured she was ready to go, they could put her in the Battle Royal, which is so beneath Sasha Banks, believe me. So we'll have to see what Sasha Banks ends up doing, or if she comes back tonight, or last night. Tonight for me, last night for you guys, because you're watching this on Saturday, you're listening to this on Saturday. Hopefully she's back on SmackDown. Hopefully she is. And hopefully she's back before the Elimination Chamber. I'd love to see Sasha in the Elimination Chamber and winning the Chamber and going on to wrestle Bayley at WrestleMania. Sasha Banks needs to be at WrestleMania. Now, there was a Trish Stratus tweet where she put a teaser video up celebrating 20 years of Stratusfaction. At the end of the video, they quickly flashed an image of Stratus and Banks in the first ever Women's Royal Rumble. Had a face-to-face in the Women's Royal Rumble. This little tease was picked up by a lot of fans who remain hopeful that we'll see Trish Stratus wrestle again, which I have no interest in seeing at all. And I have no interest in seeing Trish versus Sasha Banks. WWE already wasted Trish Stratus back in the ring, and they made it very apparent that her last match was against Charlotte Flair, and they've already done a Trish Stratus match this era with their queen. So there you go. What difference does it make if she wrestles Sasha Banks? It's not going to make any difference whatsoever. At that point, you're just already admitting what we already know, that WWE has no faith in any of the other women outside the Four Horsewomen. I don't want to see it. I'm not interested in it at all. So please spare me a Trish Stratus and Sasha Banks match. I don't want to see it at Mania. I don't want to see it in SummerSlam in Boston. I don't want to see it. It's not interesting to me at all. Banks should be women's champion and she should be wrestling top tier talent, not fucking Trish Stratus. Give me a break. Finally, guys, Ronda Rousey. WWE wanted Ronda Rousey for WrestleMania this year. Dave Meltzer mentioned Ronda Rousey during the Wrestling Observer radio show this past week. It's impossible to read her mind, but he did drop a big piece of information alluding to WWE's desire to book Ronda Rousey at WrestleMania this year. He says, and I quote, "I can't read Ronda's mind, especially now. Ronda, from what I understand, she's really happy. Look, if you don't think they wanted her for this show, and the fact that she's not on it, it says something, but I would be ... It's just hard for me to believe that Ronda won't be on the LA show. Of course she'll be on the LA show. That's the last year of her contract. Of course WWE's going to use her on that LA show. By the way, it is incredibly difficult to write down what Meltzer says via his Wrestling Observer Live because he stutters so much. So it's like, it's very difficult to read when I read the transcript from the podcast because you're transcribing mumbling and fucking run-on sentences and shit that he says that doesn't make any sense. I don't know. I prefer Alvarez anyway. Ronda Rousey says she does want to wrestle for WWE, but she won't ever be full-time again. Yeah, I wonder why. Is it because she wants to start a family, or did she realize that WWE brought her in for one reason and one reason only? They did that one thing and then fucked up everything that Ronda Rousey did? WWE fucked up everything Ronda Rousey did. You fucked up right then and there when Becky beat Ronda and Becky goes directly to Lacey Evans. It's as if Ronda Rousey didn't even exist. Awful. WWE could still be keeping Ronda Rousey a huge surprise. I would be shocked if we don't see Ronda Rousey at WrestleMania, being that Shayna more than likely is going to beat Becky Lynch at WrestleMania and become the Raw Women's Champion. I could see Ronda coming out and celebrating with Shayna. Ha 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 to Becky Lynch. I don't know. We'll see what happens. But I'm getting out of here, guys. I wanted to keep it short and sweet. I didn't want to go over 2 hours because I got Revolution. Not Dynamite, Revolution tonight. I'll be live right here on the channel with the official review and results after the show goes off the air. Pay-per-view tonight, 7 p.m. Live tweet with me at JD from NY206. Hit that subscribe button. Turn on that bell for all notifications. Make sure you guys check out all the other content on the channel down below in the description. Everything you need will be linked down there. Check out my guys, Manscaped, manscaped.com. Use code SCRIPT at checkout for 20% off and free shipping. Patreon.com/JD from NY206. And if you guys want to check out my brother's music, as always, go check out Legionary. Link will be down below for my brother's website. Bandcamp.com is where you can find Legionary. You can subscribe to the YouTube channel as well. And if you guys want to go purchase his music, you guys can certainly do that as always. And pick up his new EP, or his new single, I should say, Voices of the Voiceless, now live for sale. Guys, I'm getting out of here. I'll see you tonight for AEW Revolution. Live tweet with me. Should be a good show. Moxley, Jericho, MJF, and Cody. Bucks versus Omega and Page. I'll see you guys then.